Hi guys, and welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at accounting processes and the process, and we're going to look at purchases and the purchases returns day books. Okay, we're going to look at how you do the day books. If you'd like some more videos, please check out our website, examrevision.ie, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find lots of more videos on a range of different subjects. Okay, so we're going to look at, this is the introduction to accounting. And we're going to look at, in today's lesson, the purchases and the sales. The first thing it depends on is whether the transaction is cash or is it a credit transaction. And the second thing it depends on is the type of transaction that's taken place. So, just a tip, all cash and bank transactions will be recorded in the cash book. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the purchases book, And the purchases book is the first thing that you've got to fill out, because when you purchase a good, that's the first step, and then you have to basically input your details of what you purchased into a book called the purchases book. So basically, in really simple terms, the purchases book shows you all the things that you've bought in a particular period of time. And there's three main things that you can see in a purchases book. So the first thing is you can see the cost price of what you just purchased without the VAT. You can see how much the VAT was on the goods that you purchased. And then you can see the total cost price that you have to pay, including the VAT. So here we have an example of some purchases that we've made as a company, So on the 2nd of May, we purchased goods on credit from Maloney and Sons. It was €2,000 plus 10% VAT. On the 4th of May, we made another purchase. We purchased goods on credit from Cummins Limited. It was $3,500 plus 10% of VAT. On the 8th of May, we purchased goods on credit from Maloney and Sons, and it cost us $4,600 plus we got to add on the 10% VAT. And on the 15th of May, we purchased goods from Cummins Limited for €6,000 plus 10% VAT. Now, one thing that I hope you notice is it says received an invoice. And when you receive an invoice, that is the same thing as saying that you purchased a good, because whenever you purchase a good from a company, they will then issue with an invoice. So if it says received an invoice, that's the same thing, and just a different way of saying purchase goods on credit. Okay, so now I've got my ledger out, and I'm going to input the details into my purchasing book. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first one. The 2nd of May, we purchased goods on credit from Malone and Sons for $2,000 plus 10% VAT. Okay, so I'm going to say the 2nd of May, the 2nd of the 5th. Details, I'll just say Malone and Sons. Okay, this is going to be CO1. So this here, F, just shows us what page in what ledger the transaction is in. The cost, the cost was €2,000. So we put in €2,000. That's excluding the VAT. Then we got to work out 10%. The VAT was 10%, so 10% of 2,000, which is 200. And the total would be 2,200. Okay, the next one is the 4th of the 5th, and that was Cummins. So it was for 3,500. The VAT is going to be 350. So the total price is going to be 3,850. Okay, the next one is on the 8th of the 5th. So 8th of the 5th. And we'll say Maloney and Sons again. That was for 4,600. 10% of that is going to be 460. And the total price is going to be 5,060. The last one is on the 15th of May, so the 15th to the 5th. It's from Cummins again. So received an invoice from Cummins Limited for 6,000. 10% of 6,000 is 600. So the total is 6,600. And all we do now is we add up what it is for our cost. So if we add up all them together, that gives us 16,100. We add up all the VAT we paid, so it's going to be 1,610. And then we add up our total price, including the VAT, is 17,110. Okay, so that's it for the purchases day book. And this is when you purchase goods as a business. You purchase goods from wholesale, and then usually this is on credit, and then you got to pay for them at a later date. And you need to input all these details into your purchases day book. Now, how you get the document that you need to always look at to fill out your purchases day book is up here. It's from invoices that you receive. Okay, so if the source document that you need to look at when you're filling out your purchase day book is the invoices received. That's the document you need to look for. That's the source document. Okay, so we've looked at purchases, and we looked at where a business records all the purchases in the purchases day book when they purchase goods from a wholesaler. But what happens when they purchase the goods and then they actually want to return them, maybe to the wholesalers because maybe they're faulty, or maybe they're working on sale and return? Okay, what happens then is that we have to fill out a purchases returns book, and this shows us the cost of the good that we purchased, excluding VAT. It shows us the amount of VAT that we paid, and it shows us the total price that we paid, including VAT, just like the purchases book. So there you go. The purchases returns book shows the cost price of the goods that we returned without the VAT. It shows the VAT on the goods, and it shows then the total price of the goods that we are returning to the wholesalers, including the VAT. So, one thing I want you to notice is the source documents. Where do you have to find the information when you're filling out the purchase returns book? Well, you'll find it when it's a credit note received. Okay, so if you see that's a credit note received, this then tells you it must go into our purchase returns book. So this is where we find out our source document that tells us credit note received, this equals that it must go into the purchase returns book. Just please try to understand that the purchase returns book is when the business sends back, returns the goods to the wholesaler, to the seller, because maybe they were faulty, or maybe they didn't want them, or maybe they're working on return and sale, where they're allowed to return whatever's not sold to the seller. Okay, so I'm giving you an example now, and we have that on the 12th of May, returned faulty goods to Maloney and Sons. Okay, so the business returned faulty goods to Maloney and Sons. It was €500 plus 10% VAT. And then on the 20th of May, we received a credit note from Cummins Limited for €300 plus 10% VAT. Now notice the difference in the wording again. So if it says return faulty goods, this goes into the purchase returns book because we're returning the goods. Also, if it says received credit note, like I said, this is the source document. A credit note means that we are again returning goods to Cummins Limited, so it needs to go into the purchase returns book. So please don't get confused when it says received credit note. This is just another way of saying that we returned the goods. Okay, so I've got my purchases returns book, and now I'm going to fill out the details that I have in the example above. Okay, so the date was the 12th of May, so we say the 12th to 5th. Details, I'm just going to say that it was Malone and Sons who I returned it to. Sorry, Maloney and Sons. Okay, so it's the first one. The cost was €500, so I'll say 500. The VAT was 50. So that means the total, including VAT, was 550. The next one was the 20th of May, so the 20th of the 5th. and we returned it to Cummins Limited, because LTD, it means a private limited company, just so you know. And the cost was 300 plus 10% VAT, which would be 30. So the total would be 330. Okay, so if we had more, we'd fill out obviously more down here, but that's it. That's all we have for today. In this example, that's all the returns we have for this month. So we're going to add up what our total cost was of all the goods that we returned, and that was €800, excluding VAT. The total VAT that we paid was 80, and the total price, including the cost and the VAT, you add those together, and that was 880. Okay, there's just one other thing you need to do and you need to draw 2 lines underneath when you have your total. Okay, so we get 2 lines, and we put them underneath our totals, just like that. So now we've looked at the purchases book, and we've looked at the purchases returns book. Purchases book is when we purchase goods as a business, and the purchases returns book is when we give back goods to our sellers because maybe the goods are faulty, not working properly, or maybe because we're working on sale and return. Okay, and when you return the goods, you need to put them into your purchases returns book. We call the purchase books and the purchases returns books, they're known as the day books. So that's an important thing to know, that the purchase books and the purchase returns books, they're known as the day books. Okay, so that's it for today's tutorial on purchases and purchase returns. If you'd like to look at more videos, if you'd like to see us finish off this question, I do the ledger accounts in the next video, okay, where we look at creditors ledgers, general ledgers, and the trial balance. So please check out our website or your YouTube channel to look at the other videos. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ExamInVision for you. Thanks, guys.